Hi there and welcome back to 1000 English Grammar Test practice questions here on nextgenenglish.com. These are questions 121 to 140 and these questions are about the present perfect tense. Okay, so the present perfect tense is the subject plus have or has, depending on the subject, and then the past participle or the third form of the verb. We also have some negative present perfect tense questions, which are subject, have or has not, and the third form of the verb. And we have some present perfect questions, which are have or has, and then the subject, and then the past participle. Okay, so let's start with question number one. Question number one is something an amazing time. So is it we are have, we having had, we had have, or we've had? So starting with option A, this is of course a positive present perfect sentence. So we should have somewhere within this sentence the structure, the subject, have or has, and then the third form of the verb. So all of our answers need to fit this structure. Starting with option A, we start with the subject, then we have be, and then we have the base form of the verb, is in have. So this is clearly not correct. For option B, we start with the subject, and then we have an ing here. So B is clearly not correct. For option C, we start with the subject, then we have had. Okay, so remember we need have or has. We do have here, but we are preceded by had here. So this is a problem. So that's not correct. So it's not option C. Checking option D, starting with the subject, then have, and then the past participle of have, which is had. So the correct answer is D. We've had an amazing time. Question number two. This goalkeeper something 1 goal in the last 10 games. So is it only has conceded, has only conceded, only concede, or has only concede? So we should look for the same structure again here. Starting with option A, we have the subject, then we have only, then we have has, and then the past participle. Now what's important here is that this word only needs to go after have or has. So in a present perfect sentence, we could have the subject, have or has. And then if we need to, we can say only, then we can continue. So there's a problem here. This needs to go in this position here. Has only would be correct, which is actually what we have here for option B, has only conceded. So that seems fine. Looking at option C, we don't have or has anywhere here. So this doesn't exist is also not correct. Looking at option D, has only concede, we do have has. Then we have only in the correct place, which is fine. But here we have concede, which is not the past participle. It's the infinitive. So the correct answer here is B. This goalkeeper has only conceded 1 goal in the last 10 games. Question number 3. The guests something. So is it A, has finished eating, B, have finished to eat, C, have finished eating, or D, have finished eating? Starting with option A, we start with has. So we also have finished here, which ends in ed, so it's regular. So of course, This is it's the verb 2, but it's also the verb 3, the third form of the verb with the past participle. So that seems fine. And then we can continue with eating. However, if we check here, this subject here is the guests. Okay, so the guest is plural. So that means we would have to use have. So we're looking for have here. The guests have. We cannot say the guests has. So it's not option A. Option B, we start with have. Fantastic. However, we have finish here, which is not the past participle. So it's not option B. Option C, we have, and then finished, and then eating. So that seems fine. Option D, have finish. Again, we would need the ED here. And we don't have it, so it's not option D. So the correct answer is C. The guests have finished eating. Question number 4. Something, the same mistake. So is it you're made, you've made, you've make, or your make? Starting again with option A, we have the subject, and then we have B, as in you are. So I think we can rule out option A. Option B, you, we start with, it's got the subject, then we have, which is fine. And then we have made, which is, of course, the past participle of make, of to make. So that seems fine. Looking at option C, we have the same again, you, then have, but this is the infinitive here, so that's not correct. And then for option D, we have you are, we have be here again, and also make. So it's not option D. So the correct answer is B. You've made the same mistake. Question number 5. Something his family on a skiing trip. So is it Roy is have taken, Roy's took, Roy has take, or Roy has taken? So the first option here, we have the subject, and then we have be. Okay, so we're starting with be again. This is a problem, so it's not option A. For the second option, we actually have Roy's, which is interesting because it could either be Roy is, as in with B, or it could be Roy has. So we have a contraction, but let's assume it's Roy has. That would be fine. However, here we have took, and took is the past simple form of to take. So we have take, took, taken. And what we actually want is the third form of the verb. We want the past participle, so it's not option B. For option C, Roy has take, so we have the subject. Then we have has, which is fine, but again, what we actually need is this taken. We don't have it. So for option D, we have Roy has taken, so we have the subject, has, and we have taken, which is correct. So the correct answer is D. Roy has taken his family on a skiing trip. Question number 6. The something negative. So is it the doctor's friend has tested negative? The doctor's friends tests negative? The doctor has friends tested negative? Or the doctor's friend test negative? So starting as usual with option A, here we have the and doctor. Okay, now this could potentially be quite problematic, this apostrophe S here. Okay, because it could either be the doctor is, it could be the doctor has, or it could be to show ownership, to show that this thing that comes after the doctor actually belongs to the doctor, which is actually what it is. Okay, so it's not the doctor is friend or the doctor has friend. It's the doctor's friend. Okay, so that would make all of this the subject. The doctor's friend here is actually the subject, which means that the next word we have is has. And then, of course, we have the third form of the verb, the past participle here, tested. So we've got subject, has, past participle, and then we continue. So that seems fine. So if we just check the other three then, so for option B, We've got the doctor's friends. So let's say this is the same. This is a possessive apostrophe S. Then the doctor's friend is, this would have to be the friend is or friend has. So if we say the doctor's friend has tests negative, there's some problem with meaning there. It's not B. Then we have for option C, the doctor has, that's fine. Friends is in the wrong place because here we have the past participle and this should not be come between them. So that's not correct. So for option D, we have the doctors, which is a plural, and the doctor's friend, that's fine. That would be a subject, but then we have test. We don't have or has in this sentence. And of course, we would need the third form of the verb. If that were a sentence, the doctor's friend test negative. This could be a passive sentence, but we would need to say the doctor's friend tested negative, but not without the ed there. Okay, so the correct answer is A. The doctor's friend has tested negative. Question number 7. Something a new exhaust. So is it the cars have a new exhaust? The car have a new exhaust? The cars has a new exhaust? Or the car has had a new exhaust? So we should be looking for the same form as usual. So starting with option A, we've got the cars have. We've got have here. So whether this here, this apostrophe S, if it's ownership or if it's the car is or the car has, it doesn't really matter because none of these should go before have here. So that's not correct. It's not option A. So the option B, the car have. All right, so the car, we could replace the car with it, in which case this would need to be has. So this doesn't work, so it's not option B. For option C, the cars has, again, this, the cars, this is plural, so we would need to replace it with they, in which case this would need to be have. So it's not option C. As for option D, then we've got the car, the subject, then we've got has, which is fine, and then we have had, which is, again, the past participle of the verb to have. So the correct answer is D. The car has had a new exhaust. Question number 8. I something that you have feelings for me. So is it have always knew, always known, have always known, or have known always? Option A, we have the subject here. Then we have, which is fine. We have always, that's fine. However, this new doesn't go here because we're looking up the verb to know. And the past of know is knew. And the past participle of knew is known. So we're looking for known here. So this knew is not correct. So it's not option A. For option B, we have known here, which is fantastic. However, we do not have. If we're going to have known, we would need to have here, as in I have always known. So it's not option B. For option C, we have this here, have always known. So that's fine. We have and then known, which is separated by always, which is fine. Then for option D, have known always. So this always needs to go before the past participle in a positive present perfect sentence. So the correct answer is C. I have always known that you have feelings for me. Question number 9. Something recently. So is it they've been very friendly recently? They've went very friendly recently? They've been very friends recently? Or they've very friendly recently? Again, starting with option A, we have the subject. Then we have, which seems fine. Then we have been, which is the past participle of be or to be. And then we continue. So that seems fine. For option B, we have the subject. We've got have again, but this went is the past simple of go, of to go. So that's not correct. Then for option C, they have been very, this is seems fine, like for option A. However, we stop here with friends, which is a noun. So what we really need here is an adjective. So that's not correct. For option D, we've got the subject. Then we have again, but there's no past participle here, no third form of the verb, so that's not correct either. So the correct answer is A. They have been very friendly recently. Question number 10. Since last year, something haddock and chips for lunch once. So is it we've only had, we only have, we've only have, or we have only? Option A, we start with the subject, then have. We have only here, which is fine. That can go before the past participle, which had is, of course, so that seems fine. For option B, we only have. We need, of course, the past participle. Have is the infinitive, so that doesn't work. So it's not option B. For option C, subject, have, only, and then, but this, again, we need had here, not have, so that's not correct. And then for option D, seems fine, but we don't have or has or had or anything, so it's not option D. So the correct answer is A. Since last year, we've only had haddock and chips for lunch once. Question number 11. Don't interrupt me, something with you yet. So is it I haven't finished, I haven't finish, haven't I finish, or I have to finished? Starting as usual with option A, we have the subject. Then we have, which is followed by not. So this is negative. I have not. That's fine. That goes in the right place. And then we have a regular verb here, so which is means it's also the third form of the verb, of course. So that seems fine. I haven't finished with you yet. For option B, I haven't finished. Yeah, we need this ed here, so this is not correct. Option B. So for option C, haven't I finished? This is not a question. This is a positive sentence. So this I here, really, it needs to go before have. So this is an error. It's not option C. Then option D, I have to finished. This is fine. Well, we've got the third form of the verb. That's what we're looking for. But we don't need to. Yeah, we don't have to before the third form of the verb. And if we just say that this is the correct sentence, I have to something, then this could not be finished, because after to, you need the base form of the verb. So it's not option D. So the correct answer is A. Don't interrupt me. I haven't finished with you yet. Question number 12. I haven't something since I was a child. So is it drinked such a delicious drink since? Drank such a delicious drink since? Drank such a delicious drink until? Or drunk such a delicious drink since? Now, this should be a very simple question to answer if we know the past participle for the main verb. So we need to perhaps look at the verb first. So we start with the subject, and then we have here, which is negative. So we should be looking for the third form of the verb, which in this case, the verb is to drink. So drink is actually drink, drank, drunk. Okay, so this is what we need, the third form of the verb. So it should be a very simple question to answer here. We're looking for this because our other options are drank, which is the past simple form, drank again here, and then drinked. This is not actually a correct word. So it's not option A, B, or C. So the correct answer is D. I haven't drunk such a delicious drink since I was a child. Question number 13. Something since he was a baby. So is it Nicholas' sons hasn't swam? Nicholas's sons haven't swum? Nicholas' son hasn't swam? Or Nicola's son hasn't swum? So starting with option A, we've got here the subject, and let's assume this is has. If we say that this is has, this Nicholas has sons, that doesn't really make sense. Or if it's B, that doesn't make sense. So let's say this is possessive. So Nicholas' sons, yeah, hasn't. So these sons anyway this is plural. All right. So this would have to be, so we could replace it with they. So we don't say they has, this would have to be haven't. That would be fine, but this is not haven't, so this is not correct. So it's not option A. This one, we have an apostrophe at the end, so this is a different name. This is Nicholas. So this is possessive. Okay, so that means that this thing here afterwards belongs to this. So the sons of Nicholas, but then we have another apostrophe. There are too many problems, I think, with option B. That doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense. For option C, we've got here Nicola's son. Okay, that seems fine as a subject. Then we have hasn't. That matches with the subject because it would be one person. So he hasn't. And then, but here we have swam. So really, if we know the verb that we're looking at here, which is a swim, swim is actually swim, swam, swum. So this is the third form of the verb, the past participle. So this is not correct. So it's not option C. And we have here the correct form, Nicola's son hasn't swum. So the correct answer is D. Nicola's son hasn't swum since he was a baby. Question number 14. Something what we have to do yet. So is it they haven't said us, they haven't tell us, they haven't told us, or they haven't say to us? So first of all, we should be able to see here that all of these are very similar at the start. Okay, so they haven't something. So the only difference here are these words. So we've got said, tell, told, and say to us. So really, we have two options here. We've got two options. We've got say, because what we need is the third form of the verb. Okay, so we've got say, said, said. So that seems fine. This is the third form of the verb. We also have tell, which is tell, told, and told. So as these are the infinitive form or the present simple form, we should be able to tell that this tell here isn't correct. Okay, so we also have here say. So again, this is the base form of the verb. So it's not say or say to. So it's either said or told. Now, the difference between said and told is that you say something and you tell someone. So here, this us is someone or a group of people, including us. So this they, these people, have to tell somebody something, which is us. So the correct answer here is C. They haven't told us what we have to do yet. Question number 15. Something his almond cookies on the top shelf. So is it he hasn't hidden? He has not hid? He didn't has hidden? Or he hasn't hide? Starting with option A. So he hasn't hidden. So we've got to start with the subject, then has, which is negative form. And then this verb is hide. So we've got hide, hid, and hidden. So this is the third form of the verb. So that seems fine. So option A seems okay. If you look at option B, he has not hid. So this is the same, he has not, but of course here we're using hid, which is the past simple form. So it's not correct. It's not option B. Then of course we have didn't here. If for option C, did doesn't really go with hidden. Of course, this being the past participle, we need has or have, which we have, but these don't go together in the same sentence in this way. So it's not option C. And then we've got here for option D, he hasn't, which is fine, but then we have hide, which is the present simple form of the verb. So that's not correct. We don't have that after has, so it's not option D. So the correct answer is A. He hasn't hidden his almond cookies on the top shelf. Question number 16. How many times something, the same excuse? So is it you have told me, you've just told me, have you to tell me, or have you given me? So starting with option A, how many times? This is a question. So the structure of a question, again, is slightly different. So this time, what we need is have or has before the subject. So in this case, for option A, we've got the subject before has. How many times you have told me? That is not a question form or a question structure. So it's not option A. So for option B, how many times you have just told me? So this is basically the same, apart from we've added just here. So it's not option B. For option C, we have in the correct place. So how many times have you? But then we have to tell me. So again, for tell, we've got tell, told. So this here, tell, this is not what we're looking for. Here, after have, we need the past participle, so that's not correct. It's not option C. For option D, have is in the correct place, then the subject, and then given. So for this verb to give, we've got give, gave, given. So this is correct. This is a past participle. How many times have you given me the same excuse? So the correct answer is D. Question number 17. Something, a new 3-year contract. Is it A, has he really signing? B, has he really signed? C, is he really has signed? Or D, did he has really signed? For option A, this is question form, so we start with have or has. So that's correct. Has is in the correct place. And then the subject, this is fine. And then really, this is fine. Really can go here. It goes after the subject in the question. However, what we need here is the verb 3, the past participle, but this ends in ing, so that's not correct. So it's not option A. Option B, has he really? Okay, so we start with has, it's fine, then the subject, then really is fine, and then signed. So it should be clear that this is a regular verb. So that seems fine. For option C, is he? We've got to start with B. Okay, so with B, with has, they don't really go together in this way. So it's not option C. And then, of course, for option D, we start with did. We don't need do or did. Going with have or has here. So we have a problem with that. So the correct answer is B. Has he really signed a new 3-year contract? Question number 18. Something here before. So is it, have you ever been here before? You have ever been here before? Have ever you been here before? Or have your friends ever been here before? Option A, starting with have or has, that's fine. Okay, then the subject, this is fine. Ever is fine here. Okay, and then been, yeah, this is the past participle for the verb to be, so that seems fine. For option B, we start with you, so this is a question. So you, we shouldn't start with you before have you have ever been. No, that's not question form, so it's not option B. For option C, have ever you, of course, this ever, it needs to go after the subject. So this is a problem, so it's not option C. And then for option D, have your friends ever been? This would be fine if this were your friends and not you are friends, because now we have B, which is not correct. So the correct answer is option A. Have you ever been here before? Question number 19. What have you something? Is it eaten yesterday, ate recently, been eating last week, or eaten this week? Starting with option A, so we've got have in the correct place, and then the subject. So what we need is the past participle. So the verb we're looking at here is eat. So we need the correct form. So eat is, of course, eat, ate, eaten. So this is what we need. So we should be able to rule out option B and C immediately. So the difference between option A and option D is, of course, that this is talking about the past. And the problem here is that when we have the present perfect, we have the present perfect, we cannot use a specific time. So they don't go together. We cannot say, what have you eaten yesterday? Okay, so with the present perfect, we're talking about an action at a time in the past, which we either don't know or it's not important. The important part is the experience with a present perfect sentence. Okay, so we cannot say, what have you eaten yesterday? So it's not option A. So the correct answer is D. What have you eaten this week? Question number 20. Something more than you can chew. So is it, have you eaten off? You've been bitten of. Have you bitten off? Or has he bitten of? Now, this is actually an idiom. So this question is not necessarily all about the grammar. So there's a specific idiom in English, which is to bite off more than you can chew. So starting with option A, have you eaten off more than you can chew? So to eat off, this is not actually correct. It's not a phrasal verb. The phrasal verb is bite off. Okay, so to bite off, so it's not option A. So it's one of these three with bitten, because of course bitten is the past participle of to bite. However, we should be able to see immediately that this is of and this is of. So B and D are not correct. So the correct answer is C. Have you bitten off more than you can chew? So that's everything for questions number 121 to 140. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video. Thanks for making it to the end. Thanks for watching.